head over to miniaturemarket.com. They have thousands of board games at discounted prices like Qwinto. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today another video in the series of rediscovered treasures, games I forgot I loved so much. And because last year and this year with the pandemic and such, we're playing a lot of older games that we hadn't played in a while, and now when you play them you're like, oh man, I forgot how much I love this game so much. So this edition we're going to be talking about Qwinto, which is a really quick sort of dice game, like a bigger brother to the game Qwix that was a Spiel des Jahres nominee. I don't think it won, it was just nominated. But let me give you an overview of how this game's played. Qwinto comes with 3 dice of 3 different colors, orange, purple, yellow. It comes with a big stack of score sheets, 4 pencils, and it comes with the rules, which I bought this on Amazon, and it came from overseas in Germany, so it has German rules. I had to print out my own English rules, but you could probably learn how to play it by watching this video. Essentially what's going to happen is each player is going to get a score sheet, a pencil, and then we're going to start the game, and one player is going to start as the start player. When it's your turn to be the roller, you can select 1, 2, or any 1 or 2 or all the dice to roll. In this case, let's just say I select all 3. I will take these 3 dice and I will roll them. What I'm trying to do over the course of the game, now this is a community dice pool that everybody's going to be able to use. Now, as me as the dice roller, what everyone's trying to do is completely fill up their rows from left to right, purple, yellow, and orange if possible. Now, with the trick being, you have to have the lower numbers on the left and the higher numbers on the right, and it has to go in order from left to right. Each of these rows have to do that. So what we're doing here is we add these up. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6. So I could put the number 6 in either the orange, purple, or yellow rows because those are the dice I used. If I don't like this, I get 1 chance to re-roll, and then I roll this and I have a 10. So now I have to write, if I'm the roller, I have to write something now, and it's a 10 if I can. So here I'll write a 10, maybe I pick a 10 to be, I don't know, somewhere like right here, okay? Now other people that did not roll, they don't have to take this number. I have to. If I can't or don't want to, I can mark this off as the roller. This is going to be -5 points at the end. It also starts the end of the game, which we'll talk about later. So these dice will be passed to somebody else. Maybe that player just grabs the yellow and the orange, and they roll it. And they say 10, and they go, yeah, I'll keep that one. Again, now that since I'm not the person that rolled, I can choose to take this or not. Now, here's a good example, because here's a 10. Now, I already have a 10 in orange, so I cannot place another 10 here. Orange up here has to be something greater than 10, and down here has to be something less than 10, but it's 10 exactly, so I can't put it here. But I also can't put it here, because you'll see that there's 5 spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that has a column that has all 3 colors in it. And in these columns, you cannot put the same number on any of these. So I can't put a 10 here because I already have a 10 orange. I can't put a 10 here because I already have a 10 yellow. But since I didn't roll the dice, I could just skip this round and not have to play it. The other player may have done something. So it's my turn again. I roll all these 3 dice and I have an 8. Now, here I could just write that 8 in right here, as you see, because it's purple. And that's fine. I also could have maybe put the 8 here, because if this 8 wasn't not here, I could have put it here because this still fulfills this. I also could have put it, if I wanted to, anywhere down here because it's less than 10. But let's just say I stuck it here. Now, if there was already an 8 here, remember, you can't put an 8 here because you can never have the same number in any of the columns. And so in this case, I would have put an 8 there. And just knowing that the rules is you can't have the same number in the same column, and you always have to go lowest to highest from left to right in each of the rows. Now this will continue until one of 2 things happens. Either any one player completely fills up any 2 of the colored rows, or one of the player ends up marking off all 4 times that they failed. At that point, the game ends and we go to final scoring. Let me show you some more about that. Now here's a score sheet from one of the games I've played, and remember, the game ends if anyone gets all 4 of these things crossed off from the -5 failures, or any 2 of the rows. In this case, I finished purple and I finished orange, so that became the end of the game. Now what we do is we end up scoring this. For any row that's completely filled with numbers, and remember, they're going from left to right sequentially, and that's right. Then we take the number all the way to the right. That's 15, so I get 15 for orange. For yellow, we notice I have a missing number. If you have at least one missing number, the points you get are the amount of numbers. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers filled in, so I get 8 points there. The purple row is all the way filled up, so I take here, that's 15. Now, you see these 5 different pentagons. In the column where there's all 3 spots, there is a pentagon in one of those. Now, you take the point from that if all 3 are filled. Now remember, obviously, never in the column can you have the same number. So here I have 4, so I wrote in 4 here. Here I have 7, I have 7 there. This one was empty because I had an empty circle here, so I don't get those 8 points, so I just crossed that out. Here I have an 11, and here I had a 15. Now right here you would minus the amount of minuses that you have here. You'd minus 5 for each X that you have. And remember, you got an X here when it's your turn and you rolled and you can't place anything. Or you don't want to. There's that, and then you add it all up and there's 75. And if whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. Qwinto, there's a lot to like about it. It's quick and easy to teach, especially if someone has played Qwix. Sometimes I'll play Qwix with people first, and if you haven't seen Qwix, Qwix is a very good sort of very beginner game of sort of this, but a little bit lighter. If someone's played Yahtzee but nothing else, Qwix is a great place to start. This is too, but if someone has just played Qwix, a lot of time I'll play Qwix first, and then I'll play this right after because a lot of it has some similarities to it. I like that you're trying to get ascending numbers, but you can't match them vertically. And that's like an interesting puzzle to me. And even more so as in the puzzle is that the columns sort of like are offset a little bit. Like each of the rows, the numbers, some of them they're sort of like offset. Sometimes there's a number there, sometimes there's not. And the way that they've lined that up is just an interesting puzzle. But you're still, even though you can't duplicate the numbers in the columns, you're trying to complete the columns, especially the ones with the pentagon, so you can get those bonuses. So it's like, okay, I'm trying to go in order, try not to match on the top, but I do need to get all 3, hopefully in these 5 at least, to have the pentagons. But you're also trying to race to try to finish a row, because the scoring is really cool in this game, how like you get the highest number that you finished, but if you didn't, you just get 1 point for each number you put. So it's a big swing whether you finish a row or not, how many points you're gonna get. So you're really trying to focus well on specific rows. I like that aspect of it. You're trying to choose how many and which dice to roll. Awesome. It's a simple choice, 1, 2, or 3 dice. If it's 1 or 2, which ones are you going to roll? Because depending on the numbers and the numbers that you've placed earlier and the ones you still need to get and the colors you still need to get, that's a good choice to make as to like what to do, because it might not be as beneficial for other players, but it's going to be good for you. Which brings me to the next thing, which is you get to do a re-roll, which is cool, because sometimes you can roll something and be like, I could probably use that. I'm gonna look over there. Ooh, they could really use that. I'm gonna re-roll. Well, this one's okay, not as good as before, but they can't use that. That's cool. So you can really mess other players up, but it also is good for other players because all players are engaged each turn because of this. Because each turn after they're done with their roll or re-roll, they get to possibly, if they want to, take something and write it down. And so you're always engaged, and I like that. On the negative side of things, I would just maybe like to see a little bit, maybe an alternate layout of it on the backside, but that's about it. This is a great quick game. It's cheap, it's inexpensive, I should say. And it's a quick one to get to the table, and it's one of those ones that I just can't believe how much I loved it after I played it and hadn't played it for so long. Qwinto, a great one. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games by helping you find the next one you'll love. Lucky Duck Games has 4 new games available now. In the Court of Miracles, you lead a guild of beggars, scheme with sinister plots, and use trickery to build your own renown in an attempt to take over 16th century Paris. Baron Voodoo is an abstract strategy game involving the collection of thematic soul dice, and it made my top 10 most anticipated releases at Essen's Spiel this year. Kingdom Rush Rift in Time is a tower defense with epic heroes that includes a campaign and an infinite replayability mode. It was hugely popular on Kickstarter, raising over $1 million. Chronicles of Crime 1400 is a standalone follow-up to the award-winning Chronicles of Crime, where you'll be solving 4 unique crimes in medieval Paris. These are all available in stores now, and you can learn more and order them at luckyduckgames.com.